Namaste. My name is Marie Mathieson, the founder of Soul Space Yoga and Wellness, located in downtown West Palm Beach. I'm thrilled to welcome you to First Service Residential's Lifestyle at Home. It is my honor to guide you through a Yin Yoga practice. So the difference between Yin Yoga and Vinyasa or Yang Yoga is we find the postures and we sustain them and hold them for a longer period of time. We do not engage muscle, which allows the fascia, tendons, and the ligaments to stretch out. This could be a challenging practice for some because they need to focus in on the breath and resolve to remain still and try not to let the mind wander. So it's a meditative physical practice concurrently. So let's give it a shot. And we will start out with a comfortable seated position. Now I am cross-legged. You can lean up against the wall if that feels good for you. You can have the legs straight out in front of you or crossed, whatever is most comfortable. And find a nice long straight spine. And as you find that straight spine, you can find a little bit of movement on the sits bones till you find your center. You want to lean forward and back just a little bit. Make sure there's even weight distribution in both sits bones. You can allow the hands to come down to the knees. If the palms are facing down, you're seeking groundedness. If the palms face up, you're seeking to receive energy. So decide what's appropriate for you. And as you begin this practice, close the eyes or simply look down the bridge of the nose and begin to go inward. The easiest way to let go of your day and the conversations, the task list, the to-do list, is to tune into the breath. So take 3 clearing breaths with me now to begin. Inhale through the nose and open the mouth, sighing it out. Again, inhale through the nose. Let it go. One more like that. Inhale. And release. So taking those nice 3 clearing breaths, now resuming the practice with the lips sealed and breathing in and out through the nostrils. Trying to deepen the breath a little at a time, so not having to rush toward the exhalations. Just a nice, gentle, full inhale, bringing the air all the way into the chest. And then as you exhale, feel it leaving the chest, the ribs will close and the belly will deflate. Tune in to the natural rhythm of your breath, with just a little effort of slowing it down, lengthening inhales and exhales. So it is believed by many that we are given a predetermined number of breaths in our lifetime. So when we take the time to slow down the breathing pattern, the inhales and the exhales, we are in turn extending the span of our life. And notice a sense of calm and safety and security, contentment, peacefulness. It starts to overcome you as you just slow down the breath and tune out the outside world. And if it hasn't happened yet, not to worry, it will come. And as you find that next full and complete exhalation, begin to formulate your intention for this practice. We set our sankalpa, our intention, to give more significance to coming to the mat. So it might be a positive affirmation. I am strong. I am light. I am love. Or it could be a goal that you're trying to achieve. It may also be that you'd like to send your energy out to those in need. So deciding which intention you'd like to set for today. And then when you're ready, bring the hands into heart center and bow into your divine light and set that intention now, saying it in your mind. After you've stated your intention, press the palms firmly together, pressing palms up to the sky, and then send that intention out to the universe. And bringing those hands right back into heart center, and we'll prepare for our first shape, our first posture. So I have a bolster. You might want to reach for a bolster or a pillow, or maybe you have a block or maybe books, whatever you have at home that will support you in your practice. So in this first shape, it's known as caterpillar pose. We'll create an L shape with the body. As we create the L shape, we'll first draw the toes towards the face and create a nice straight spine. And then when we're ready, inhaling, sweeping the arms high, and then exhale as you hinge and fold. Now you're going to notice some sensation right away, so allow the breath to guide you in the body. Take another breath in, and then exhale, surrender to the shape, allowing the head and the neck to relax and the shoulders to relax. Now this is where a prop might come into handy, so you can grab that bolster and place it right on the lap. Just settle in on top of the bolster or pillows. If you have a little bit more space in the body already, you can reach for the block, placing it on the shins, around the knees, and then allowing the third eye to land on the block. And as you settle here into your caterpillar pose, tune into the breath. Finding that slow, steady rhythm of your breath as you open up the lumbar spine and the backs of the legs, the hamstrings. Notice how it feels to lengthen through the back body and create space with every inhalation and fold in just a little bit more with every exhalation. Now remember, in our yin practice, we want to disengage muscle. So you want to allow the feet to flop open and everything else is relaxed. If you'd like to take the deeper expression, you can bring the arms back behind you, palms face up, and rest the head down. So deciding once again what's appropriate for your body, taking that shape and settling in. Once you have found your space and your shape, tune into the breath. And if the mind begins to wander, just disrupt those thoughts. Not now, I'm breathing. Not now, I'm practicing. Everything that comes to mind will be there when you have completed your practice. So let it go for this hour. Dedicating this time for yourself and nourishing your body. After you've completed your next little exhalation, begin to come all the way back up, taking your time. So in Yin, the transitions are sometimes just as challenging as the postures themselves. So be okay with that and always transition slowly. Allow blood flow to find its natural path with time, not rushing. Coming into our next shape, which will be your butterfly pose. This is Baddha Konasana in the Vinyasa practice, the Yang practice. So we have options here as well. We'll bring the soles of the feet together and we'll allow the knees to relax open. If you want more sensation, bring the heels really close to the body. If you're looking for a little less sensation, simply create more of a diamond shape with your legs. You're going to fold forward, so after you fold forward, you may want to decide on any adjustments that you'd like to find here. So wherever you are before you fold in, let's take some time to massage the bottoms of our feet. So important to give some love and attention to our feet. They do so much for us. We also know that the meridians, this is Chinese Qi energy, the meridians end at the feet. So we want to massage those meridians, which ultimately impact the internal organs. You reach down for those little pinky toes, massaging them now. That's impacting your lung meridian. We're all very focused in on the health of our lungs and our respiratory system. So take some time now and just massage the feet and the toes. Just think of all the goodness you're doing for the internal body. Now, when you're ready, you're going to fold forward from here. If your knees are really high off of the earth, so maybe up here somewhere, I recommend that you place some supports underneath the thighs or the knees. And the reason for this is once they have a place to go, they land on something, you'll disengage your hip flexor muscles. If you do not have the support, you are involuntarily going to be using those muscles, and it's harder to get into the Yin practice. So find what you need now and then take that nice deep breath in and start to hinge forward. So think about drawing the chin further forward and then down, and then relax into your shape. From here, tune back into the breath. And let the breath be slow and steady. So even though the belly's compressed here, see if you can find long, deep inhalations and slow and steady exhalations. With every inhalation, see if you can find a little bit more space. And with every exhale, fold in a little bit more. Surrender to the sensations in the body. They are all temporary. Everything is. So be okay with those sensations and breathe with ease. You're here for a moment more, so resolve to remain still. And try to tune into the breath or that intention that you set for this practice. Seeing those thoughts in the mind appearing like cirrus clouds. As soon as they form, they dissipate and disappear. You have one more breath here. Let it be long and steady. Do not rush the exhalation. Get all the air out before you begin to bring yourself all the way back up, remembering to transition slowly. And then draw the shoulders as far back as you can. You'll feel the weight shift on the sits bones. Reach alongside those knees and start to close the knees up like you're closing up a book. So there's your rebound in the hip flexors and the knees and in the ankles. You feel this nice release. And we'll take our next shape. So we're going to draw the right leg out to the right. We're going to draw the left heel right to the groin and bring the toes all the way to the inside of the right thigh. Now I keep my right toes active while I find the shape, and then I'll release those muscles. So this is half dragonfly on the right side. We'll begin again by lifting up and lengthening. So you're trying to find as much space in between the vertebra, and you're going to fold forward. Now, once you're here, you can explore different locations of your fold. You can go off to the left side a little bit or stay into the center. The center will be a little bit more sensational, so just deciding what feels best for you. And then once you're there, relax that right foot, let it flop open, and then surrender, allow the head to settle down. I've placed my third eye on two fists stacked one on top of the other, or you can reach for a blanket or a block, whatever feels better for you. So finding this shape now, resolving to remain still, and tuning back into the breath. And scanning the body, making sure you haven't engaged any muscles involuntarily. So check the facial muscles in the jaw, let the tongue fall away from the roof of the mouth. Let the shoulders relax, let the head be heavy, and let that right foot relax. Now that you've been here for a few moments, if you'd like to make any adjustments, whether you find your new edge or you come out ever so slightly, just let the movements be very slow and subtle, and then settle in once again. One more breath here. Remembering to transition nice and slowly as you press into the palms. Use the strength of your arms to bring you up. Walk the hands back towards the body, and then step back onto sits bones once again. So we're going to move away from this abduction of the right leg and now bring it into adduction as we bring it over on top of our right knee. So this is Gomukhasana, otherwise known as shoelace pose. Now from here, I have my right knee on top of my left. I'm going to come forward a little and scissor the legs together and then sit down in between my heels. I find a nice straight spine. Now, if you're getting a lot of sensation here, this is where you stay. If you'd like to fold forward, you're going to do the same thing as you find the length in the spine first. Inhaling as you reach up to the sky, and then exhaling as you hinge and fold over the knees. Now again, the right knee is on top of the left, and then you can settle in and relax the head here. Tune back into the breath. If this is a posture that you're finding very challenging, I'd like to offer you to place a support underneath your sits bones. So it might be the block or a book or maybe a pillow. So if you lift up and bring the hips forward and then sit up, you're still going to get that nice stretch through the right piriformis. You're still going to get into the right hip. You may not fold forward in this shape, and that's okay. Just decide what it is that you need for your body in this moment. You have about 10 more breaths here. So settling in, maybe going a little deeper, just exploring that new edge. So in the Yin practice, a common phrase you'll hear is if you feel it, you are in it. So sometimes when sensation starts to dissipate or completely subside, it means we need to find the new stretch in the body. But again, without engaging any muscles to find it, just moving deeper into the posture. Settling in once again, disregarding the thoughts in the mind, tuning into the breath. On your next inhalation, if you're folded forward, you'll begin to press yourself up. Let the head come up last. You can tuck the chin towards the chest as you rise all the way back up. We're going to undo those legs. So you'll lean back into the hands and take the feet really wide off of your mat. And then drop the knees from side to side. Now, if you want to get into a spinal twist here, drop the right shoulder, bring the gaze over the right shoulder as the knees drop to the left. And then swap that out. The knees will drop over to the right. Drop the left shoulder, gaze to the left. Notice how sensation feels in those hips. I'm going to start to find those same couple of shapes on the other side. So this time, as you come up onto your sits bones, the right foot's going to come in towards the groin. Left leg is going to come out. So find the distance that's best for you. So where is this heel going to go? And then pull the right heel in close to the body. Sit up high and strong on sits bones, activating the left foot. And then when you're ready, inhaling for that length and then exhaling to fold in. And try to mimic what you did on the first side. So we're always seeking to balance the body. So maybe you walk the hands further forward, maybe they were over to the right. Whatever it is that you want to find, settle in. Just try to keep anchoring down through that left sit bone. And breathe. Relax the toes of the left foot. The foot will naturally flop, and then relax all the muscles in the body. And as you sustain this posture, notice where the mind goes, wondering how much longer you'll be here, maybe wondering where these sensations are coming from and how we can improve them. We start to look for things. We start to look for answers when we are idle. That brings about the thought that we don't necessarily need to have an answer. We just need to stay in the present moment and breathe. Last breath here. Your next inhalation will bring you all the way back up. Once you are upright, remember to lean back so you have that even weight in your sits bones. And moving from the abduction of the left leg to adduction, we're going to wrap that knee right on top of the right. So I think sometimes it's a little hard to see in video, but My knees are stacked one on top of the other, and the easiest way to snuggle them in is to lean forward, press yourself up, squeeze the inner thighs together, and then sit right back down. Feet are on equal distance to the side of my hips. They're facing in opposite direction. And then from here, if you needed or chose to sit on a block or a pillow, go ahead and lift up now, and then find the expression that works best for your body. This is a great shape on both sides for anybody struggling with sciatic nerve issues. You're going to stretch that piriformis, and that is the culprit that gets into that sciatic nerve pain. So this is great posture. When you're ready, if you're going to fold forward with me, inhale for the length. Exhale, lead with the rib cage, then the chest, then the chin, and then settle in again. Now the weight of the body is on top of the stacked legs. Be okay with those new sensations and surrender to the shape. You're here for another moment. We can hold this posture. We can do anything, virtually anything, for just a moment more. Just think about how fortunate we are that our bodies can do what they do, what they can do, and not worry about what the body can't do. One more breath. After that full exhalation, start to come all the way back up. Let the head be the last thing to come up. So draw the chin towards the chest, coming up nice and slowly. You're going to lean back into the hands to support yourself. And as you do that, then start to untwist those legs. So finding the knees this time so they're parallel with one another, maybe a little bit further apart, and then drop the knees into one another. And that might give you a little bit of a release. We're going to take a spinal twist from here, known as deer pose. So we're going to bend the right knee, and we're going to bring the left knee on top of the bottom of the right foot. So our legs are in the shape of a prancing deer. So this is deer legs. And my left toes are facing to the left. My right toes are facing forward. Now from here, it's usually nice to have a pillow or two. So go ahead and reach for those now, and then place that support right at the back of your right hip. Okay. And then you're going to inhale for the length again, and then you're going to start to twist from the body and then start to lower down onto that support. Now, if you have good range of motion or you're working toward better range of motion, start to bring the left cheek down on top of your support. And once you find that, settle in and resolve to remain still. Relaxing the arms, relaxing the shoulders, letting everything go. Last breath here. And very slowly and mindfully press up into the hands and bring the gaze straight down first to neutralize your neck. Then start to walk the hands way outside the body as you start to untwist the spine and bring it back to neutral. We'll take that on the other side, so go ahead and reach for your supports and start to place them over to your left. Lean back into the hands and simply swap out your legs. So the left foot, sole of the foot is on the inside of the right thigh, and the right toes are facing to the right side of the mat. So there are your deer legs once again. Go ahead and reach for that support, place it behind the left hip. And then when you're ready, inhaling the arms up, start the twist from the lumbar spine, keep twisting thoracic, and then start to lower down. Now this time, your right cheek will come down onto the support so that you can get into the cervical spine as well. So a full spinal twist here. You may notice one side feels different from the other, and typically that's because of the way you generally sleep. So there's habits in our bodies, and it comes out, it's very noticeable, recognizable when we come into these shapes. Be okay with that and breathe. 2 more breaths here. Exhaling all the air out completely after that second breath, and then pressing into the palms, slowly start to untwist. Straight down in front of you, so you're neutralizing and protecting that neck, and then start to walk the hands further away from the body than you want to, and then bring it all the way back up through center and coming back onto sits bones. So we've opened up the hips, we've opened up the hamstrings, and we've gotten into our spine quite a bit. Now, generally speaking, Yin will work the body from the waist down unless we choose to do some arm exercises, shoulder exercises. So we are going to do that next. So go ahead and place the props away from you, rolling up onto the hands and knees as you create your tabletop pose. And from here in your tabletop, you'll spread the fingers nice and wide, draw the navel into the spine, and then drop the belly. Now from here, you're gonna walk the hands out into Anahatasana, which is heart melting pose. So keep the toes tucked and keep the hips high, and then walk the hands towards the top of your mat. Now for some of you, the chest and the chin will come down, and for others, it might be the third eye that aims towards the earth, and it may not even come down, which means you might want to place a support underneath the third eye. The idea is that you get into the shoulders as much as you can, so keep the arms straight and walk them towards the top of the mat. Now, if you're feeling a lot of strain in that rib cage area and you want the support, placing the block now underneath the rib cage and then settling in. Anahata is our heart chakra, so this is heart melting pose. It's often referred to as puppy pose. So we have a sway back, which means we have light compression to the lumbar spine, getting into your shoulder girdles, and you're also getting into the throat chakra. You're opening up your throat. So breathing here with ease, as best you can. We don't usually hold this posture as long. Keep the sits bones high, and then keep melting the heart. If you're finding this extremely challenging in the shoulders, you can widen the space between your hands and see if that feels any different. And then resolve to remain still once again. Nicely done. Start to press into the palms and begin to walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. Notice how your shoulders feel after that deep stretch. Now go ahead and bring the knees closer together. Let them touch, tucking the toes, and you're going to hinge back and sit down on top of the heels. This is another posture where some added support might help. So a pillow or a block or a book or something that's going to lift the hips, and then you could place on top of the Achilles heels or the shins, and that's going to redistribute the weight very differently, but it's still going to give you the stretch that you desire in the bottoms of the feet. Now from here, we'll bring our Sits bones down, soften the gaze. You can close the eyes or look down the bridge of the nose and resolve to remain still here as you hold this toe stretch. I like to bring my hands into Dhyana Mudra, so the left hand underneath the right, and then the palms face up and the tips of the thumbs will come together, and I allow that to come to my lap. What's nice about that mudra is it invokes contemplation, and it basically is a mudra that states that all is auspicious, all is as it should be, all is fine. You can apply that to the posture as much as you want to apply that to the world around you and everything that's going on. So deciding how the mind wants to be perceived, how you want to perceive things, saying it is okay, everything is okay. Now, some of you are getting a lot of sensation in the bottoms of the feet, so just consider staying for a few more breaths. Know that everything is temporary, including this sensation. If you've already come out of the posture, consider what caused you to move away from the sensation. Do not judge, do not criticize, just consider what it is that got you out of the shape. Thinking about our thinking, metacognition. Very powerful tool to use during our practice and to take off of the mats. One more breath. Now again, not rushing to come out of it, even though maybe you're more than ready. Start to come forward, plant the hands down. You return back to that tabletop pose and then gently untuck the toes. The blood flow will rush all the way to the tips and then gently tap, tap, tap the tops of the feet, really gently. No need to pound them down. Good. Now from here, I'd like for you to find an inversion. The word inversion often scares people, but we have a way of inverting that's perfectly safe. So I'd like for you to grab some of your tools. So it might be the block or the bolsters, pillows, whatever it is. And I want you to find your body up against the wall. And the reason is, if you're independent, if you're home alone right now, like anything, we want to be safe. That's the most important thing. So when we invert, you have the support of the wall behind you. Now draw the feet so that they're hip width apart, and your heels are going to come away from the wall just a little bit. From here, you're going to take that forward fold. Keep the glutes attached to the wall. That's your support. And then reach for those blocks or books or whatever it is, and then drop the head. As you drop the head, will come close to the thighs, and now your head is below your heart, so you are fully inverted. You have the support of the wall, you have the support of your props, whatever it is you're choosing to use. You're going to relax here. Now, try not to hyperextend the knees if you have a deep forward fold, so a gentle bend. And if you do have a bend in the knees, just a little at a time, see if you can create space and start to straighten them out. But doing that mindfully, this is more about the inversion than the hamstring stretch. So settling in here and allow the blood flow to take its unnatural path. Notice if you started to tighten anything. So soften all the muscles. Check in with the jaw, the cheeks of the face, let them hang. Check in with the belly, it is also soft. Allowing the hamstrings to stretch. Do not lift the kneecaps, so do not engage the quadriceps. And just breathe. You're here for just a few more breaths. Good, and when you're ready, you're gonna start to bring yourself up, but only halfway. So I encourage you to bring your hands to your shin bones first. Press the shin bones with the hands and gaze forward. So you're going to look for your horizon line and let the blood flow find its natural path. Take two breaths here. And then when you're ready, bring the hands up to the thighs. So pressing into the femur bone now, and then start to rise all the way back up. Notice what it feels like to move slowly as the blood flow finds its natural path. Now lean back into the wall. So the back of the head, the back of the shoulders, the glutes are all on the wall. Let the blood flow find its natural path, bringing that freshly oxygenated blood into the entire body. Notice how that feels. Good. Now we're going to continue to use the wall for our next shape. So you're going to take the feet a little bit wider and then turn the toes out and the heels in. And you're going to lower right down against the wall into your malasana. Now, this is another good thing, another good posture for the support of the block. And I'll tell you why. For some, it's just challenging to be here. So if you just take a little seat on the block, you're still going to get into the hips. Now, for others, you actually have so much mobility here that the strain is going to be in the knee joints. So we don't want you to just hang out in the joints. It's not really the goal here. So deciding where you are on that spectrum and then placing the support underneath the body and lean back against the wall. So trusting that wall and trusting that nothing's going to move unless you move. Now you can bring the hands into heart center and take the thumbs and press them right into the breastbone, and then press into the elbows to widen your knees just a little bit more. Go ahead and gaze down the bridge of the nose or close the eyes completely and enjoy the posture. Nothing is engaged. No bandhas are in active mode, so just relax here. Now, malasana is many of these postures actually, but this one really calls to mind the aid in digestion because we have this compression of the ascending colon on the right, descending colon on the left. So that compression is aiding in the movement for digestion. So we are also getting into our hip flexors. You're also stretching your Achilles heels. Lots of good stuff going on here. Nice duration, nice hold, everybody. Now start to bring the hands down in front of the feet. Just simply start to turn the feet back in towards the front of you. And you're going to sit down onto either hip, it doesn't matter which, as you start to take your final shape. So many of our yin postures cause us to go inward. We are forward folding. So we're closing off the heart. And animals by nature will close off the front of the body for self-protection, survival of the fittest, protecting the throat, the heart, the internal organs, the genitals. So we fold in for protection. Let's take one heart opening shape. So even though we did Anahatasana, we were still going inward. So I'm going to give you a couple of options because everybody's going to be slightly different here. The first one is to take that pillow or bolster and place it behind the small of your back, and then drape the body over the the bolster, and then allow the legs to be long and the arms to relax down. You're going to feel an immediate stretch through the pecs and then also through the torso, the belly. And this might be where you stay. Others may want to come into a supported back bend where you are not going to have as much compression on the lumbar spine. So you will reach for a block or a support of some kind, and then lift the hips up high enough to place the support underneath the sacrum. Now I have the block placed at the middle setting, and that's where I'm comfortable, but some of you may want to lower that block and relax down. Now, when you place the block underneath the sacrum and settle in and let everything get heavy, this should feel really, really nice. If it doesn't feel really nice, you're either too high or too low. So just consider adjusting it before you settle in and find your final posture. Now, in both shapes, whether you're on a bolster and pillows or on a block, you can take those legs back into that diamond shape or the butterfly shape. And that's going to allow those hip flexors to get one more stretch. Wherever you are working with the breath. So settling in and finding your stillness once again. Finding 5 more breaths, whether you're on the bolster or the block in a restorative bridge pose. Just really opening the heart here, giving gratitude for this practice that heals us physically, emotionally, spiritually. Just allows us to connect with ourselves, our true selves. And it even allows us to connect with one another virtually. So important to stay connected with each other during these nebulous times. And through the practice of yoga and sharing your energy with one another, you're giving a gift of energy, and you're also receiving the energy of others. So imagine now that there are people out there in this universe who are praying for you right now. And how does that make you feel to know that others have your well-being in their hearts and on their minds? I know that fills my heart and makes me want to give my love, compassion, and prayer to others. Now, when you're ready to come out of these shapes, I'm in the restorative bridge. Whether if your knees are open, go ahead and close the knees first. And then you're going to lift up just high enough to remove that obstruction underneath you. And if you have the pillow or the bolster under you, just push it out of the way and find yourself flat on your backs as you prepare for your final posture, your Shavasana. Shavasana traditionally is on the back with the arms away from the body and the legs separated, so there's air and space around the body parts. If you'd like to bring your legs up the wall to Viparita Karani, go ahead and do that now if that's in your practice. But as you settle into your Shavasana, I will begin to close out the practice as I come up to a seat. But I want you to settle in and find the most comfortable shape that you can find for your corpse pose. Ultimately, the corpse pose is one of the more challenging postures for so many, asking yourself to be still and do nothing. But it is truly what you deserve and part of your self-care that is so important to take the time to rest and allow this practice, the breath, the shapes that you've taken, the stretching of the muscles to integrate into the body. I am on my sits bones. I am seated straight up and down. I will now look down the bridge of my nose and then close the eyes completely. I'm going to take a clearing breath in through the nose and sigh it out the mouth. If you'd like to join me, I have 2 more. Inhale through the nose. Let it go. Inhale all that is pure and divine. Exhale, ridding the body of all the things that do not serve you, do not carry them anymore. I will draw my hands into Anjali Mudra at heart center. I will seal this practice with one resounding Om. In through the nose. Drawing my thumbs up to my third eye, my space of knowledge and wisdom and intuition. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, pure peace. Peace to you, peace to me, peace to all. I want you to take your Shavasana rest, and I want to thank you again for joining